Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So tonight, let's talk about how to earn passive income with your Bitcoin and altcoins. Right now, a lot of you guys are just holding and holding. And you know what? You could do something while you're holding, and that is, and I will show you how to earn passive income through a variety of ways with your Bitcoin and altcoins. So let's do this. Welcome, guys, to tonight's show. So 2 shows every day, 11:30 and 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you hit that notification bell and follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, CryptosRUs.com, and Quora. All right, guys. It's Friday night, so it's a little bit slower. That's okay. You guys are here. I'm here. And let's do this. There's a lot to cover in a very short amount of time. There's quite a bit. I'm gonna go through basically every single way that you can earn passive income. At least the 4 different ways, or 4 or 5 different ways. I'm not gonna showcase every single project out there because there's literally 10,000 ways to earn passive income. But I'll show you the basics. So right now, as it stands, Bitcoin is a little bit above 36,000. Overall market cap is slightly down, 1.51 trillion. And many of you guys are dollar cost averaging, yes, and holding. So what can you do though? You hear about this all the time with DeFi. How do you make money? How do you make money from just holding with your own crypto, right? Isn't the whole point of decentralized finance is to replace the banks that basically give you 0 interest right now? So what's better out there? Let's start out with native staking, okay? Most of this is one way or another, or one form or another, in terms of staking or depositing, but some are very, very, very easy to do. Some are not. Starting with native staking, what does that mean? Well, you guys may have heard of proof of work and proof of stake, right? Bitcoin is proof of work, which requires a lot of miners to basically solve this equation. Proof of stake is different. Proof of stake just requires you to basically, if you want to run a node or a validator or anything that is helping secure the network and process transactions, you simply need to deposit some tokens, and there are a few ways to do so. Now, the newest way to do so, and quite possibly the easiest way, absolute easiest way for you to stake, is simply through some kind of wallet, like a web wallet or a mobile wallet. And there are so many projects that do that. For example, Theta, I talk about all the time. This is Theta's wallet, and you can see, you can send, receive, and right there, they're staked. And if you do deposit stake, you can choose. Do you want to do a validator node, a guardian node, delegated guardian node? And pretty soon with Theta 3.0, there will be elite nodes that you can stake into. So basically you click into it and you deposit. It's that simple. Since it's already integrated in your wallet, you can put in as much as you want. It's very, very, very simple. So this is like the easiest form of staking, native staking, and you're supporting the project that you love, right? Because you own the token of this project. So why not utilize it and actually earn passive income and help secure the network, right? Usually with these kind of staking, it ranges anywhere from 5 all the way to like 30%. Yeah, 30%. So it really depends on the network, depends on the project. So here's Theta, another one, which is one of my sponsors like eMoney. They recently just upped their staking from 17% to 28%. This is why I'm saying it could go up as high as 30%. And this is their wallet too. This is just their e-wallet, which is very simple. And you have all these validators and you click into it and you stake and unstake, and that's it. It's that simple, right? Another one you guys have heard of. A lot of you guys love AMP, right? You can stake AMP. If you love AMP, you have a ton of AMP, why not stake it? So this is through their Flexa capacity network, and you could stake it actually within Gemini, or you can stake it into their spend, right? And interest is around, I think, like between 5 to 6%. So there's many ways you could do it. You could also connect your wallet and just do it straight from here, right? So this is like the easiest way to stake. When there's projects, the newer projects, they basically build it into their wallet. So it's one click staking, that's it. Now, a project that's supported for a long time, nulls, they have it multiple ways. You could actually stake through their wallet, right? This is for NVT, their Nerve network, but you can also stake it through SEO, which is supporting the projects that's coming on board nulls. And there's also third-party staking, but you know, like a project like nulls, they have different, various kinds of staking, and this SEO staking is actually quite interesting because if there are new project coming on board the nulls network, you can actually stake nulls and not lose it and get rewards back in that native token. Very, very interesting. Also, you do have staking where it's a little bit more complicated, where it's not just through a native wallet like with Theta's, right? You have to deploy like software and actually run a node on your computer. So for example, Energy does that. Energy has two different kind of nodes. They have a regular node and a master node. And depending on what you stake, if you do a regular node, you're making about 13% interest per year. If you're doing a master node, it's higher at 22%. So it depends, but like with Energy, for example, you do have to download. You have to download a node onto your desktop and set it up. And many projects are like this. They don't always have like a wallet, native wallet staking. You do have to download something, and sometimes it gets a little bit confusing, right? For most projects, they do have like very comprehensive and easy to follow guides. But for some projects, there isn't a lot. So you just kind of figure it out where it's quite difficult. But this brings me to this project Anchor, which a lot of you guys had asked me about. Anchor pretty much solves that problem. Anchor, the whole project is about staking and helping you deploy nodes. So this is Anchor's node setup, and you could see from Algorand's Relay node to Binance Smart Chain's node to Celo to you could run a Bitcoin node, a Dash node, Icon node, Neo, Hathor, Polygon, Near, Omi's Go. I mean, so these kind of nodes take some effort in doing. So you have to download software, you have to run code, and sometimes it's just too complicated, too complex for some people. So if you wanted to, you can actually just rent it basically from Anchor. So you can see there's a certain price, like Binance Smart Chain node takes $129. A Dash node is only $19 per month. Hedera is $200 a month. Neo's $120 a month. So if you wanted to run a node and you didn't know how to set it up, you could definitely use something like Anchor, where if you're paying for it, boom, it's already up and you could start making passive income right away. So you do have projects like Anchor that helps you with that. Anchor also, it's interesting because they have a lot of different kind of pools. They have these like micro pools so that you're actually staking with other stakers and they combine it. And they do offer liquid staking too, especially with ETH, right? So right now ETH has the beacon chain that's going for 2.0, ETH 2.0, I should say. And if you lock in 32 ETH, you can't touch it. You can't get it out, right? But Anchor also allows you to basically get a synthetic version of ETH that you could actually use in DeFi, right? So that's something else that Anchor does. But that's another form of staking. Now, you could also put it into like a pool, which is very similar to native staking. I mean, it's almost identical. So, for example, Cardano has 2,600 pools out there, and basically these pools, just the aggregate of people, each one could have hundreds to thousands of delegators, which is basically people that are staking within these pools. And you do so without losing control of your ADA too. So for something like Cardano, you would actually natively stake into a pool that you like, for example, Swag stake. A lot of these pools have been around for quite a long time, quite a long time. So you could simply stake with your ledger, so you don't actually have to give up control. You don't have to rely on the pool. You don't ever have to give it up. You could withdraw anytime, and you're in your control of your funds, right? And you could do so directly with the Delos wallet and from your ledger. So that's another form of native staking, right? Basically for a project that you enjoy. Right? So that's number one. So yeah, I went through a lot there, right? But for native staking, you could have it through a mobile wallet or just a wallet. You could also have it through like a node that you have to deploy onto your computer, or something that you can rent from, say, Anchor. Or you could do it through like a pool setup like Cardano. But they're all very similar. And the biggest benefit to this is if you are supporting a project, right, by holding on their tokens and you're holding, why not earn passive interest anywhere from 5 to 30% by holding it, right, and helping the network at the same time. So this is most commonly the most, the most widely used form of passive income, okay, or earn passive income, I should say. All right, so what is there outside of native staking? Well, there's a lot. Let's go to the exchanges, because the exchanges, there's a ton. There's a ton. All right, here we go. Yes, done. So moving on, then there is staking on the exchanges. Now the exchanges a little bit different. So basically the exchanges will take that and they will like lend it out. So this is more like centralized staking, but you still do get a ton of interest, anywhere from 5 to 10%. So for example, if you are on Coinbase, right, you can stake directly on Coinbase and you could get up to 6%. 6% APR on your crypto, and this, it varies. There's a ton of crypto that you could do on Coinbase. Also, if you utilize Gemini, for example, Gemini has their own earn, and it's a little bit more, 7.4%. And if you look at this, you could see that, there's a ton. Let me scroll down. There's a ton of crypto that is support. Now, this is, again, varies, and it goes from 1%, something like 1.5%, and goes all the way up to their own 7.4% is because their own Gemini dollars. But for the most part, most of these projects are like 1 to like 3%. So probably not as good as the native staking, but you're still earning something. So for those of you guys that hold on your crypto, say on Gemini or Coinbase, you could earn. Another one is, of course, Voyager. And a lot of you guys know of Voyager. It's a great mobile app. They're also US based. And they're a little bit different. They're not actually an exchange. They're actually a broker, which actually utilizes liquidity from multiple exchanges out there. However, they do allow you to simply earn interest just by holding on your crypto within their wallets. And what's awesome is they actually give you a ton of APR. So, I showed you guys like Gemini and Coinbase. It's like 1 to 2%. But for Voyager, you could see it's pretty high, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8%. So it's actually quite high. And in fact, USDC is at 9%. So that's actually really, really, really high, right? And the good thing about Voyager is you don't actually really stake. All you have to do is keep it in your wallet, and you can see that there's a minimum requirement. So if you are holding on, let's say 500 VGX, Voyager's own token, you're earning 7% just by having it in Voyager. So that's another way. It's very similar to Coinbase and Gemini, yet it's not. it's close. Now another one is KuCoin. You guys know of KuCoin, exchange that I support and love. They also have staking. And now their staking is different because it goes by time lengths. Sometimes there's short-term ones and there's long-term ones. So if you actually go through Earn right here, it goes to a different site called PoolX, but still it's their system or their exchange. So if you look at this, you go down the list and it's actually quite competitive. In fact, it's not quite competitive. It's class leading, basically. You can see Kusama, you can earn 12.52% if you stake it in for 7 days. DOT at 14% for 28 days. Luna 8% at 21 days, right? And it goes on and on and on. And there's a lot of tokens that you normally wouldn't find anywhere else that you can stake and actually earn pretty good passive income. Now, sometimes it's full. For example, BPro, a small cap project I've talked about before, you could stake on KuCoin for almost 12%, right? And it's only 3 days, but you can see the quota is 100%. So unfortunately, sometimes you can't get it when it's full. But other times, there's no quota at all, and you can earn quite a bit. I mean, look at this, Hydra. I don't know of that project, but it's 92% right now for 1 day. So there's something going on with Hydra. So this is another way to do it, like another exchange. KuCoin and Binance is very similar to this. Very similar to this, so that you have like flexible terms and dates and stuff like that. So you could go through and just look at which ones you like. All right, so those are exchanges. Now let's look at some projects. So for example, you do have lending projects like Aave. So you have projects like Aave and Compound, which also allow you to earn passive interest. So basically, take a look. If you go in here, you could deposit and you could borrow. So if you're depositing, you're making interest. You could see synthetic is 7.5%, balance is 5.3%. Then it starts dropping to 2s and 1s, right? But you could also borrow, and it tells you exactly what the interest rate is. So you can have, staking, or I should say depositing or lending in this case. You can lend out and people will borrow it, and that's how they pay out the interest. So you do have projects like Aave, also Compound is in this space. So you could see that Compound's interest is a little bit lower, DAI's 2.5%, that's actually leading. Everything else is under 1%. But you do have projects that also offer this, right? So that's another way to earn passive income. Now, there's another way to earn passive income, and that is through providing liquidity. This is something that Mark Cuban just went through, and unfortunately ended up bad for him. But you can also stake within a yield, like a liquidity pool on an AMM. For example, PancakeSwap. So there's farms out there. The reason why AMMs can actually trade and swap, they utilize farms. They basically utilize liquidity from the people. So for example, here you could provide for Cake and BNB. So you have to provide for both pairs. This is BUSD and BNB. Just as JGN, DFT, HAI, BNB. There's a whole ton. Now, because these AMMs are desperate in terms of having liquidity, they pay out quite substantially. So on PancakeSwap, you could see like, I don't even know what HTB is, but they're paying 463 APR. This is substantially higher than the 5 to 20% that I just showed you guys with this native staking and even with Voyager and so forth, right? So you go down the list, HAI, I believe that's Hackin, I think, with BNB 391%, and then it goes on and on and on. So for yield farming, this is actually, for yield, like basically staking liquidity pool within a farm on AMM, these interests are actually pretty normal. So here's one that's Mochi Swap on Harmony, and the interest isn't as high, but some of them are still, it's pretty darn high. Like what is it? I think this is 1 inch on Ethereum with Harmony Mochi is at 125%. Right? Here's a Harmony Mochi with Sushi, 172%. Here's a Binance Mochi with Sushi Swap, and it's 215%. So it really depends. The farms that have the least amount of liquidity usually pays the most. That's how it works. Here's another one that's QuickSwap. This is on Polygon, and you can see that theirs is also the same, just not as high. Here's like an ETH-matic one that's paying 65%. Here's ETH USDC, 48% and 26%. Matic to Quick 135%, right? So there's still a good amount. Look at this, Titan. I don't think anyone should deposit into this. Titan to ETH is paying 3 million%. I don't even know why that's there, and there's still 1.1 million in there. But yeah, so that obviously was what Mark Cuban just went through. So you don't want to deposit in that one. But yeah, it does show you that there are a lot of options out there. And finally, so I went through how many options? I went through native staking, which already has a ton of options. So then there's exchange staking, and there's a lot of different options already, right? You have decentralized lending, and that's another way. You have yield farms and providing liquidity. That's another way. And finally, the most basic, and that's considered centralized earning or lending or depositing, and that's something with like BlockFi, which gives you a deposit bonus when you deposit in, and their interest is pretty good. It isn't the best for non-USD, non-stable coins. So like BTC, ETH, Link, okay, but what really pays out the most for something like BlockFi and competitors like Celsius and Nexo is really stable coins, because how they make money is basically taking the stable coins and lending it out. There's institutions that want to borrow it, and they basically make them put down the collateral so they could borrow it, but that's why they give a high interest rate. So right now USDC is at 9.3%. and all the other stable coins 8.6%. So this is the final way to make passive income, is that you could put it into a lender like BlockFi. I don't even know if they're called a lender. They're just like a project. I mean, yeah, I guess they're a lender, almost like a bank, but they're not. But you could also give it to them and basically collect APY and set it and forget it, basically, and that's it. All right, so that's pretty much it. That's all the ways you can make passive income. And I know a lot of you guys are you're holding a lot of crypto, right? It's probably in your ledger or your trust wallet, or it's on exchanges or whatever, right? And it's fine. It's fine to just not earn any passive income. But I know a lot of you guys have been utilizing some of these ways to make passive income, and at the beginning, you look at it, you're like, you know what, it's not that much. But over time, it really does add up, right? So hopefully you guys learn a thing or two from this stream. All right, guys, let's do some Q&A. All right, I scrolled up there. Let's see if I missed anything. Super Mario says Orion Protocol staking starts June 22nd. All right, good to know. I mean, at the beginning of this stream, I said there's probably 10,000 ways to stake, and that's because we have over 10,000 projects, and almost every single project has some way to stake, either through a wallet or through some kind of node setup, or some other version like a yield pool, like a yield farm or something like that. So basically, there's a ton of ways to earn. What else is there? Scott says, shout out to my mentor Gilbert Lazaro, Tito Vlogs crypto channel. He's our George, by the way. We are a crypto trader from Philippines. Okay. I guess shout out to Gilbert. I have no idea who he is. But thank you for that. Thank you for that. Any info on capital gains on crypto.com credit card? Capital gains is capital gains. Earning passive interest counts as capital gains. So crypto.com also have their native staking too. I believe you could do it through their mobile wallet, and it's the same thing. Whatever they pay out counts as capital gains. Someone is asking, is Pundi X legit or is it going to zero? It's legit. It's not going to zero. They've been in operations for 4 years now. They just redenominated their tokens. They're coming out with their new chain. They still have deployment of their POS systems. So they're definitely still executing. Hank says, I thought interest counted as income and not capital gains. You know what? I always thought it was capital gains, but you might be right, it's income. I don't know. I think it really depends on which country you live in and the tax code. So basically, talk to your accountant. Talk to your accountant and figure that out. Because I think it does vary depending on where you live. Jackson, I appreciate that. You think 1.4 is the bottom for ADA? I mean, I think ADA was a little bit lower before. I mean, when Bitcoin was at 30,000 not too long ago, I think it went down to like 120s, but it came back up to 140s really quick. I mean, here's the thing about Cardano. Okay, you look at, and I showed you guys this, when almost 72% of the total supply is staked in a pool, there's really little reason to worry about it because 72% of the people are just leaving it there. They're not trying to trade it. They're not trying to do anything with it, right? So the market could fluctuate up and down, but this is a true sign of holders that are just holding no matter what. So that kind of tells you how many people love and believe in Cardano. So I do think, I don't know if 1.4, $1.40 is the bottom, but I do think that is definitely here to stay and it's going to go a lot higher, especially when they get done with Goguen, which is already ready in, what is it? It's being tested in the testnet. Do I think Cake is undervalued? I do think so. I mean, they dropped down quite a bit, but they're still the leading AMM on Binance Smart Chain, and they're still providing very good interest within their pools. So their farms, I should say. What else is there? Opinion on Wu token. Daily volume is up with the bigger changes. I haven't really done a deep dive on Wu trade, so I can't tell you about Wu token. Cartesi, that a lot of people does seem like that. Don't get your tax advice. Is YouTube chat is my advice? No. If you want tax advice, go seek an accountant. It really is different. You know, taxes in the U.S. is very different than taxes in Canada and UK and Australia. Everywhere is really, really different. Dustin asks, have we seen bottom at 30K? Just your opinion. How soon optimistically will we see all-time high? I think we'll get back to where we were, the 60s, probably towards the last quarter of this year. And the reason why I think so, and I could be totally wrong about that and come much sooner, which I wish would happen, but I was looking at, 2017's chart, and in the middle, like halfway through, right around now, between like May and August and September, this time frame, Bitcoin was really, really quiet. It did have a few jumps, but overall it went sideways, took some dips, and a lot of the gains came, the last 3 months of the year. And it could be the same thing now. But also it could be that because of everything that's going on with countries adopting Bitcoin, remember El Salvador, their situation, they haven't fully embraced it yet. It was within 90 days, right? So that also times it. Imagine when they fully open up and embrace Bitcoin and others that join in, and who knows what other news that could push Bitcoin higher, right? So, yeah, I definitely think we'll see 60s and well beyond 60s later this year. New to crypto, I heard you mention Digibyte before and saw it drop to 4 cents. Today, is it worth buying? Well, if you're new to crypto, you have to decide why you like Digibyte. Out of all the tokens, what made you drawn to them, right? So Digibyte is a payment system. They were created with 5 hash algorithms to prevent a 51% attack, but their sole purpose before was just to be a payment system. Now, they have expanded into a layer 2, which allows them to get into DeFi space, but it's still very early. So that's what Digibyte is all about. So you figure it out if that's a project that you like. If I sell all my crypto now, I could repay in full my student loan. What would you suggest? I cannot tell you that. You have to figure it out. Student loans suck. It does. It's one of those traps, right? And many people do not pay off their student loan even after they become a professional, have a career, and they just let it go on and on and on. But it's one of those traps. And you can't get out of student loans. You can't even claim bankruptcy to get out of student loans. So you decide whether or not you want to keep in crypto or pay off your student loans. Props, isn't that the real estate play? Is it props or proppy? Is it this? Yeah, it's not this because they weren't out since 2017. It's probably the real estate one. Yeah, I never liked it. I never got into it. I never liked it. I don't think tokenizing real estate. I think there's a lot of. I don't think the laws are really set for tokenized real estate and how you divide up, things, especially if things get sold or whatever. I don't know. Not for me. Oz says September will be our next big run. History normally repeats. JP Morgan will disclose holding September 1st. Yeah, I would say, we're midway through June, July, August. Could be a little boring, and that would be okay. That just means that we have more time to accumulate. But definitely, in my opinion, I don't think this is the end. There's too many people that is too bearish right now. Way too many people that's too bearish, saying, it's a bear market, it's done, it's going to crash down to zero. These are the same guys that haven't been in it for that long. That's the thing. They got in maybe at top, or maybe the last few weeks, or maybe they're just there to spread FUD. But people that, like me, that have been in it for a year or many years, how can you complain about Bitcoin at where it is when it was $3,800 just a year ago? It's really, really silly to think that. And we have lived through 3 years of crypto winter where there was absolutely no hope at all during those times. And we were trending much lower and basically making no moves, right? So right now it's definitely very different. Despite the fact we've been having some up and downs, right? This is still perfectly within reason, even with bull run standards. Lamb says, okay. What else? Did I miss anything? Going back. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. Volt swap. I heard people talk about it, but I haven't looked into it. I forget what chain they're on. If they're on Binance Smart Chain. Yeah, they're on Binance Smart Chain. They haven't done much recently. I heard a few people talk about it. Yeah, sounds like I am, man. You have a swap, you have farm, pool, locker, launchpad. So look at these interests. Pretty high. 100, 300, 400, right? Okay. So it's just another promising AMM, let's just say. I think the company released their current and potential asset was done on purpose for people to rush by when they already own potential assets. Derek, which project are you referring to? Yeah. Trex, yes, I think he wants to go out. Jordan says hi. Hi, Jordan. What else is there? Hi Q says, bullish. Michael says, student loan forgiveness is on the way. I think it's been, like for the last year, at least in the US, I think you didn't have to pay back your student loans. But eventually that forgiveness or that grace period is going to come to a stop. What else is there? Algorand and algo staking. I'm sure you could do it. I just don't know too much about it. I don't know if you could do it through a wallet of some kind, or you have to do it through like some kind of node. What are your thoughts on formation? Cross-chain decentralized asset management system to bring maturity and stability to DeFi by allowing users to quickly create highly diversified portfolios tailored to individual risks. Okay, it's like creating like funds for you to invest in. Welcome to Cross-chain Risk Parity Smart Farming 2.0. It has a lot of back buy. I don't know if this is actually true or they're just working with them, but possibly. There's a lot of projects or a lot of VCs and stuff and projects. Traditional farming, yield farming 2.0. Somehow they make this look better. I don't know if that's really the case. How does it work? Whew, that's a mouthful. Through prioritizing secular diversification, the risk parity rebalancing mechanism sorts smart asset allocation by pairing counter-trend assets. This allows for ISO diversification construction to occur within our index coins to minimize risk fluctuations at a fundamental level, as it can detect levels of asset behaviors. I mean, I have no idea what any of that said. So this is not a project for me. Way too complicated. If it could do what it's trying to do, great. But I don't understand it. I was talking about Grayscale. I forgot what you asked already. But Grayscale is thinking about 14 different new trusts, right? Mostly in DeFi, although there's a lot of like chains like Polkadot and Polygon and Cardano, but there's a lot that's just DeFi stuff. Yeah, VThor staking within the VeChain wallet, VET staking within the wallet. I mean, every single project basically has some sort of staking or mining, right? That's just how decentralization works. You need something to power the network. But it just really depends on if it's like an old school setup, new school setup. There's so many different ways, right? But yeah. This was 2020, man. I don't know. You said 2017, 2018? No, this is like a new 2020 coin. Engage user community tokens. Yeah, this is definitely this can't be a 2018. This can't be a 2018 token. People didn't even talk about NFTs back then. So, okay. So it's a project that allows you to create NFTs. Okay. There's a few projects like that. I don't know too much about this, but it is on KuCoin. Really small market cap though. Really small market cap with really low volume, so be careful. Be careful with that. Phantom, I do like Phantom. They're EVM compatible chain. like a layer 2 for Ethereum. They have a lot of DeFi projects like Yearn and Sushi's on top of it. They have their native DeFi. So I like Phantom. I think they're go, if they can get more dApps to come aboard, I think they're going to do well. Pokedex testnet is coming. They're bridging the gap. Okay. There's a few projects that's already doing that. Like Orion Protocol is already doing that. So BTT, I still don't really support. I don't know. Things in the Tron ecosystem just is a little iffy to me. So I don't know. I don't know what the end game is. They're all separated. There's no cohesion. There's no like integration at all. So I don't know. BTT, ever since Tron bought them, just kind of like been no man's land. All right. Roman, I appreciate that. Hopefully. Hopefully. Staking on Binance good. It's very similar to like KuCoin, for example. Basically, you have a good amount of interest and then you select like the days, right? And there's many different kind of days and you could sort it. You can sort it by, days and the yield that you get and so forth. But pretty much every single project that they list, they'll have. And Binance is very similar to that. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. I'll let you guys go. Get your get your Friday back. Right now, I think the best thing to do is hodl, right? If you can take advantage of the dips, great. If you can't, you hodl. But what do you do with your tokens, right? Do you just hold it? Sure. But you can make some passive income. And there's many, many, many different ways through native staking to support your project and the chains that they run, or you could do it on the exchanges, you could do it on apps, you could do it through like decentralized lending plays, you could do it through yield farming, and you could do it through centralized lending plays, right? So there's many, many, many different places. So you decide what's best for you. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. As always, smash a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right, have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.